The Nintendo Switch OLED is finally here, the latest addition to the Switch family. It released last week, of course, the 7th of October, and here in the Netherlands it got sold out immediately, which was very frustrating for me. Damn you scalpers, you know who you are! I had to wait a few more days to be able to pick up my Nintendo Switch OLED, but here we are. A lot has already been said about the newest model, and there are a lot of creators out there on YouTube that have already made several videos about all the technical differences between the two models. And the specs are not the only reason why you should buy a new gaming console. So, I would like to focus more on the experience. Maybe the upgrade in a technical sense isn't that much. Mainly a new screen and a better kickstand, and it's maybe not even worth 350 bucks. I think the most important question should be, what do you need as a gamer? What would you like to experience and how would you like to experience that? So, I am going to give you my opinion and experience on all the different consoles and give you the reason why you should buy the one or the other. Or maybe even own multiple Switches. There are time codes in the description below, so if you don't want to watch the whole video, which I kind of recommend you actually do, you can go ahead and skip to the part you would like to watch. So, with that all aside, let's get started. So, let's get started where it all began. The original Nintendo Switch. Released back in 2017, and I owned a Wii U at the time, which I didn't really use anymore, to be honest, so I sold it, and with part of the money I made I bought the original Switch. The fact that the Switch has 3 modes, tabletop mode, handheld mode and TV mode, kind of seemed like a gimmick to me at the time, because I thought, you know, I'm gonna play this thing in docked mode anyway, right? Docked mode, not dock mode. Great Scott! But then you have your handheld mode, and I must be honest that is one of the modes I play the most. It's just very nice in hand, it's a nice system to have. It's very sturdy actually, although the Joy-Cons might feel a little flimsy. You can even hear that, I guess you can. Oh, that's the button, wait a minute. You can also detach the Joy-Cons, of course, and you can put it in tabletop mode, which is a mode I rarely use. It's nice for, you know, when you do multiplayer games with other people, but you get this little tiny flimsy kickstand thingy. Then you can, of course, attach the Joy-Cons again, and you gotta love the sound which the Switch makes. Yeah. Nerd alert! And then we have the Switch Lite. I've got 3 colors of them. Where's the third one? There it is. Yes. 3 colors of Switch Lite. Why do you have 3 colors of them? Well, I like to collect my colors, I guess.
Seriously, what the f***?
This is the turquoise one. It's the first one I owned, and I love this thing. It came out in 2019, and you know, it really put the emphasis on handheld mode. It's a very nice material, kind of a rubbery plastic kind of feel. It feels different in hand than the original Switch does. And one of the big plus points for gamers is that this has actually got a decent D-pad. Ta-da! This is always a good choice when you want a Nintendo Switch, when you don't own one yet, because it's also one of the cheapest ones. You can already buy a Nintendo Switch Lite for around 200 bucks, which, come on, 200 bucks for a Switch. So there I was. I owned the original Nintendo Switch, which I used when I was sitting in the living room or on my Beamer, and I provided it with a bigger SD card so I could stash most of my games on that system. It became my main system, and the Switch Lite became my second unit for all the on-the-go gaming. After 3 years, my original Switch though started to have some problems reading cartridges. I was afraid my Switch was dying on me, but till today it's still going strong. And it just does this weird thing sometimes where it just doesn't read the card, so then I have to put the card in and out and in and out and wiggle it a bit, and then it plays fine. I don't really need a new system, right? Of course, until the OLED model came out. Now this is a very interesting device. You already know this, but let's get over the selling points of this device very quickly. Of course, it's got a very gorgeous 7-inch OLED display, an upgraded kickstand, better audio, although the difference isn't that big, but it's noticeable, and the casing has had a little overhaul. It looks and it feels more robust, And to give you an idea, the original Switch feels more like a toy and the OLED feels more like a new smartphone or tablet. It's just slicker and the build quality is a bit better than its predecessor. So especially in handheld or tabletop mode, your gaming experience actually does feel better. The Joy-Cons on the OLED model even seem to be updated to prevent drifting, which is a common issue for a lot of Switch owners, although I personally never experienced that. So the question that remains is, what do I buy? Well, we got the original Switch, we got the Switch Lite, and we have the Switch OLED. Now, owning all three models, I can honestly say that the answer to that question is, it depends on what you need as a gamer. If you're planning to play a lot in docked mode, you are totally fine with the original Switch. And since the OLED came out, the price of this little bad boy just dropped to around 280 bucks, so that's not bad. If you like to play a lot in handheld mode, I can really recommend you the Switch Lite. It's the cheapest one. It comes in very nice color variations and it plays fantastic. Even with an OLED model in my house, I play on this one a lot. So I guess that says something. When do I think you should buy the OLED model? The OLED Switch is the best choice for newcomers who don't own a Switch yet, or people who want to play a lot in handheld mode and really find that OLED screen an important part of their gaming experience and enjoyment. If the difference of an LCD or OLED is a game changer for you, then of course the OLED is the way to go. It's also for people who don't like the ergonomics of the Switch Lite and just want a robust handheld console and are willing to pay for that. If you are like me, someone who doesn't mind to pay for a better design and technical improvement because it is part of their enjoyment. Or if you are one of these people who just want the best out there and you are willing to pay 350 bucks for that, then yeah, the Switch OLED is absolutely for you and I believe you should buy it because then it has a lot to offer and it will definitely satisfy your needs. But when you already own a Nintendo Switch, an original one, and you find it 350 bucks too steep, or you play a lot in dock mode, more than handheld, you are absolutely not missing out on anything. Please save your money. If you own a Switch Lite and you don't care about the best image quality and you are not missing out playing in dock mode, stick with your Lite. You know, you already own a wonderful device. Whatever you buy, the Nintendo Switch is in my opinion one of the best consoles out there. Not in graphical terms of course, because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are better in that regard, but the Switch is definitely one I enjoy the most. Also, the high-end games catalog that has been released the last 4 years is not one to ignore. From kids to hardcore gamers, you just can't go wrong with Nintendo. They have got very powerful IPs, games with Mario, Zelda, the new Metroid Dread game that just got released. It's a major Nintendo IP, but also third-party games, racing games, adventure games, puzzle games, a lot of big titles. You don't play on Switch for the best graphics, you play for the fact that it's such an approachable experience. Just fire up your console and you're good to go everywhere you want. Microsoft games even started releasing on the platform, big ones like Ori and the Blind Forest for instance. The Switch also started supporting cloud gaming in 2020, so you can play games like Hitman 3 or Control, and soon Guardians of the Galaxy on your Switch, where in that case the graphics are just as good as they are on PlayStation 5. So, there you have it, my thoughts on the Switch family. And whatever you decide to buy, you are going to have a very good time. This was the Cross Portal for now. I see you on the other side. Till the next one.